We definitely have to solve this problem very, very urgently, and I have already publicly appealed for the government of India to lead in calling for an end to the conflict, for de-escalation and diplomacy. This is already now beginning its third week, this war, and the third week means it's becoming a war of attrition. It's no longer a shock surprise tactic kind of thing. I think that they really need to now move on very quickly. Oil prices have been shooting up, you are aware of that. Gas, the problem is the shortages because the physical gas cannot leave Qatar, which supplies 40% of the gas that we import from that area. The Strait of Hormuz is a narrow strait that the Iranians have essentially blocked. Very few ships, 3 or 4 ships have got through in the last several days, which is nothing. It's a major artery for shipping traffic. So as a result, LPG has become a problem. Queues are mounting. Today's newspaper reported a man who died of a heart attack after waiting with his empty cylinder for a refill. It's becoming a crisis for the Aam Aadmi of our country. You're looking at a genuinely problematic situation. I accept the government's explanation that in other areas like petrol and diesel and kerosene, there's no particular shortage. But for the minister to say there is no shortage of LPG, my answer is ask the ordinary people of India what their experience is. We are finding dhabas are closing. Restaurants are not able to prepare food. Friends from Hyderabad are telling me that the dish called halim, which is a slow cooking dish, cannot be made now because they don't have the fuel to cook it for such a long time. All of these things are happening in different places in the country. We can no longer talk in terms of there being no LPG crisis. There is an LPG crisis. It is affecting the Indian kitchen, it is affecting the Indian dhaba, it is affecting the Indian restaurant industry. And we must appreciate the fact that the ordinary persons who go out, I'm hearing stories from Bollywood. The film stars and their crews cannot get food prepared during the shooting because they don't have gas cylinders. So how can we claim there is no crisis? There is a genuine problem we're facing. If we have 5 states going to the polls, all of us running around campaigning, where will we stop and eat on the way if there are no dhabas on the roadsides? It's a very, very serious issue. I'm not blaming the government. I'm saying that as far as this is concerned, acknowledge the problem and try and solve it by doing whatever can be done to increase supplies of gas from other sources, and meanwhile, play a constructive role, in fact a lead role in calling for peace in the region.
So but the central government is repeatedly saying that there is no crisis at all, and these diplomatic relations can solve this crisis, like the opening of the Hormuz.
Well, the Straits of Hormuz can only be opened through an end of the war, because Iran has very few chokeholds on the rest of the world. At the moment, they're very much on the back foot. 13 American soldiers have been killed, 5,000 Iranians have been killed, according to media reports. The balance of the conflict has been entirely against Iran. Much more destruction in Iran, many more missiles have hit targets in Iran than Iranian drones and missiles have hit targets elsewhere. So Iran is on the receiving end. One of the areas they can do is they can make things difficult and expensive for the world by tightly restricting channels of oil, channels of shipping, channels, airlines, and so on. So that is the leverage they've got. They're not going to surrender that unless we can persuade those who are conducting this war to quickly call it off. That should be our objective in the interest of saving not only our economy but the entire region.
Modi says opposition creating unwanted panic on this issue.
Look, I have no interest in creating a panic. I'm just describing the experience of ordinary people I see around me. Why should I want to create a panic? I want to see the problem solved, that's all.